Welcome to Shoulder and Hip Cars, presented by Fry Wellness. I'm Colt Fry, I'm the face behind Fry Wellness, and today I'm going to be taking you through just a quick introduction to shoulder and hip cars, controlled articular rotations. So this is going to be an exercise that's going to help us become familiar and start to access the maximum range that our joints can access. In this case, shoulders and hips. These are both ball and socket joints, so they're capable of a lot of different motions: internal, external rotation, flexion, extension, adduction, and abduction. And then any combination of all of those together. They're very complex joints, and so these are a great way to start to tune in, take stock of the movement you have access to, and then hopefully start to improve it as part of a daily movement routine. So I'm going to start with a shoulder car. Take you through some form cues here. First thing I'm doing is going to be externally rotating my hand and then coming across towards midline. As I keep that hand externally rotated, I'm going to come up, try to scrape by my ear, essentially just trying to make as big a circle as possible without turning my shoulders or hips. As I come back into my extension, when I get as far as I can, I'm going to rotate now into internal rotation. My thumb is pointed down, and then I'm going to continue on with that circle back to right about midline in front of the body, and then I'm just going to reverse the motion. So thumb is down, I'm still internally rotated, coming back into extension. As soon as I hit that back corner where I feel like I can't go much further, I'm going to switch to external rotation again, and then continue on with my circle back to my starting point right at about midline. I'll do the other side here, let you get another look at it. One thing to notice with these cars is what's going on with the rest of the body. So you'll notice here my right hand is in a fist. I've tightened up that hand. I'm trying to tighten up that shoulder and just generally create some tension throughout the rest of my body. As you get better versed and more comfortable with these cars and these motions, you're going to want to be creating as much tension and force as you can. And we want to be limiting any compensations that might try to occur. So with something like a shoulder car, that might mean turning my torso, having my shoulders come up, down, or turn left to right, or even some leaning side to side. And I really want to try to limit that and have the motion come through the focused joint. So of course, in this case, it'll be my left shoulder. And so that applies to the hip cars as well, as you'll see in a moment. When I move on to my hips, I don't want to have to be worrying about my balance, so I'm going to grab something to balance with. I've got a mace here. That's going to give me just a little bit of a reinforcement, and we're going to move on to the hip. So again, we cross midline. I'm going to externally rotate and then open the gate by bringing my knee out to the side. Once I hit as far as I can, I'm then going to internally rotate and continue on back around into extension, and then I'm just going to reverse extension. I want to try to pee on the tree, lift that knee, and then externally rotate as I'm bringing that knee around across midline and then back down. And again, hopefully I'm not seeing a whole lot of hip rotation or torso leaning as I'm trying to gain the end ranges of the motion here. So again, adduction across midline, external rotation as I flex the knee up, out to the side, internal rotation, and then back into extension. And then I'm going to reverse extension, abduction, lift the knee out to the side, externally rotate as I come around, across midline, and then back down. I'm going to give you a side view so you can see what hopefully is happening here, where there's not a whole lot of torso leaning one way or the other. You might find that if you're really trying to hit in range and make these nice big circles with your, in this case, your leg, that you actually are doing some compensating. The hip might be hiking up. You might get some lean forward, backward, side to side. That's why it's a good idea to film yourself doing these every now and then, so you get some visual cues about what's going on. A lot of times it can feel like you're doing one thing, but in fact, when you see it, it looks a little different than you think. And so it's always a good idea to film, make sure we're not getting too crazy. When you're doing these, a good practice to work with these is anywhere from 3 to 5 at a time. If you're using them for a warm-up, they don't need to be crazy intense. You just want to be trying to get familiar with the ranges, starting to get your body temperature up a little bit. But that's going to be the quick primer for shoulders and hip cars. Give them a shot in your warm-up. Make it part of a daily movement routine. It's a really great way to start the day. Kind of some gentle movement that really wakes up the joints. So give it a try. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below or find me at frywellness.com. Thanks so much for watching.